Actually, let's just start here. Welcome back to Strength Cultures Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. James George has an idea, and it's coming to fruition.
It is.
We've got our first trivia night. Run us through it, James. What's going on?
Okay, so there are some things that we need to get on the same page with, Dids and I, so we're going to sort that out tomorrow, Wednesday. But so far, we got about 20 people interested. We're going to have it here in the office space that we've got just outside.
Just to butt in, if you're listening to this, it's tomorrow night. You're listening to this on Thursday.
Oh, true.
It's tomorrow night. So if you're keen, clear your schedule.
Yeah.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So, trivia. It will be roughly an hour's worth of trivia, some
pop culture,
some lore from the potty. Thank you to Jez. He submitted a fuck ton of just questions.
There were some questions in there I didn't know the answer to.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not participating.
He went back. He was throwing in. Oh, I can't give him away, but he was throwing in
just
some
like
real
random shit we've said on the podcast.
Just like he asked Jeremy to give us some podcast specific Q&A.
Yeah.
Questions that pertain to the podcast, things we've said.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's a lot in there.
He
as
went
you can imagine.
back. Speaking of, actually, I was going through Instagram. You know how it pops up with suggested? I came across, was it Radio Dogs?
Oh,
Radio Dogs.
I was looking through it. I'm
I thought that got deleted.
Ooh, should it be deleted?
One episode had to get deleted. Maybe I didn't delete all of them. I had to delete one episode.
It was the Instagram. I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't
so
go
yeah. I
through
don't think the
anything.
podcast can be found anymore.
No,
Yeah.
but it was.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
That's law right there.
I assumed. I was like, do I include that? No, but I won't include that. Some crazy photos of you posted on there, just absolutely shredded. Yes. So
Is that still an Instagram page? Fuck me. All
yeah,
right.
it popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trivia tomorrow night, 6:30.
So is it teams of two?
It'll be teams of like 4 or 5, I reckon. What do you think?
These
kids?
details will be nutted out in tomorrow's meeting.
But I'm thinking the bigger groups, the bigger the vibe. You can also get collaborative a bit more. So.
Are you using that software that everyone used to use in COVID?
Kahoot. I wanted to, but I reckon we're going to use a Keynote. I've got a good thing going on with Keynote. Kind of like exploring with being able to slot videos in there as well. So like little snippets.
Oh, so each slide is a question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh,
You're fully building this out.
Yeah, fully. Production quality's it's through the roof. Yeah, so
I rate that you've gone like full into this. Isn't that all right?
Yeah, just for the times, get there at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
We want to be like starting 6:30. 6:30, we're in the chair.
yeah, prizes for first place. Yet to be confirmed.
But there'll be prizes.
Yeah. Could be handshake, could be a photo. Yeah, who knows?
Sign your teddy.
Yeah.
Who's the quiz master?
The quizmaster will be myself.
All right.
Since I made everything, it's not fair for
You to partake.
Yeah. I've got the upper hand on everyone, so I will dish out the rules. I'll dish out the questions. We will figure out who hands out the prizes. Like
How many total questions?
at the moment there's like 15 or just under 15, but I think we should do more.
Absolutely.
We'll bolster it up.
You got to get up to like 50 or something. I reckon.
50.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. That's easy.
You just chat GPT. Give me 30. Just give me 30 random questions for a good trivia night.
Yeah, at the moment it's potty and gym related stuff.
Yeah, like you have that stuff in there, but then you got to have
general.
the classic, like, whose flag is this? And it's like it's like Uzbekistan or something, like just some little country that people won't know.
Dan Serlin's really excited about it. He was telling
Dan Serlin would be good, I reckon.
He's
got a wealth of just random facts in his brain.
He's getting more involved. He's going to be our grill master for Novice Comp.
For the Novice Comp. So we had the late inclusion of the barbecue for next weekend. So Dan Serlin will be bringing his Webbecue. We're going to sort out some snags, which will be fun. He wanted to do a spit, but it's only a morning session, so we have enough time. So
if he wants, he can do the spit for the second one.
Well, the view is November because it's going to be a full day, novice and sanction. We'll get the spit going.
I'm name dropping him so he can't back out of it. So
No, he'll if he's available.
I feel like Dan's one of those guys. If he says he's going to do something,
100%. And if he's not going to do something, he'll say no.
Yeah.
He'll be.
Yeah.
It's either
Straight shooter.
here or there. Straight
Yeah.
shooter. 100%. So that'll be fun.
But yes, trivia. I'm super
He's not
keen.
afraid to say no.
Yes. Which is important.
I need to ask you.
Definitely not afraid to say no.
Dan, yeah, but the trivia stuff, that will go really well. I'm very excited for it. Jez mentioned he can't make it, so
Which is probably good because he's provided half the questions.
That's
He'd
true.
Probably
That's
win.
true.
And plus, he's just a trivia kind of guy.
You should zoom him in.
We'll have a special entry.
Phone a friend like a like what are those lifelines on Who Wants to Be a
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah.
and then afterwards we're going to the
What were
stomping
they?
ground.
50-50.
Phone a friend.
Ask the audience.
And then
Ask the
ask the
audience.
audience.
Yeah.
I don't remember this. No,
Back in the day.
yes, before my
Before
time.
your time.
But then stomping ground afterwards to wrap it up, just some drinks and catch up, some dinner. Yeah.
Very nice.
Be good.
So if you
Community.
are interested, just DM James, I reckon, or Didier.
Or just DM us to let us know you're coming.
Yeah.
But 6 p.m. Strength Culture.
6 p.m.
Be there
Be
Friday
there.
night
Be there or be square.
Up in the classroom.
in the classroom.
Nice.
Mad.
Oh, it's exciting.
Kahoot.
Kahoot, yeah. I remember those were just flying around in COVID.
They were
I
mad.
somehow missed that.
Everyone was just doing Kahoots.
Every uni class was Kahoot, basically. Yeah. High school, Kahoot.
Kahoot.
Maybe we should.
Kahoot nanny.
Maybe next time.
Well, I think
we'll do some
Kahoot,
more
because it
organisation.
allows you to track who's winning and stuff.
That's true.
I think that's
And it's got the really
A live
catchy theme
leaderboard.
songs.
like you
All
need
the-
a live leaderboard somehow.
That'll be me on the whiteboard with Texter.
Can we use what's it called? Lifting cast somehow.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a function.
Weight class. You got to weigh in for the for the trivia night. Nice. All right, that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
And if it goes well, I reckon this might be not a regular, but like a
It'll make a
couple times a year maybe.
Yeah.
Good community event.
People are still waiting. So actually, Jake Webster wants a LAN party, which is like a console.
Halo 1.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I'm like, all right, well,
Bring your laptops.
Not sure how that one's going to go, but cool. In the suggestions box. And we still are workshopping the other games night of like Warhammer and
The hobby
and that
night.
stuff. Yeah, the hobby night.
The hobby night. I'll bring my Pokemon cards.
Oh, shit.
We'll set up a trade table. This is a shout out. I'm looking for a Dark Blastoise holo from the Rocket set. It is the last card I need for the Rocket Wizards. There's going to sound some jargon depending on where you
Whole
boys are at.
sentence made zero sense.
Depending on where you boys are at with your Pokemon knowledge, Pokemon card knowledge, I am looking for a Dark Blastoise holo. So it's card 3 of 82 from the Rocket set, Wizards of the Coast era. It is my last card. Once I complete Rocket, I would have had base set unlimited, Fossil, Jungle, and Rocket completed. And then
base set's completed.
Yeah, and then I move on to the Gym Heroes. I found a card at Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge because I've got a couple handfuls for them. We're in Hobbyville right now. Sorry, Dids. We're following this.
Go down. Go.
So if anyone, I will pay market price. If you have a Dark Blastoise, I will pay market price. And
what are we talking? Like what's the neighborhood of price we're thinking?
This one's about $120.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
For you to complete this set, is this for you to have the satisfaction of completing the set, or is this to complete it then sell it?
No, just hold it.
Hold it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got back into it at the peak of COVID when Logan Paul was ripping decks and just blew the price up of Pokemon. It's fucking ridiculous. You can price chart, so you can see like a stock market. You can see up and down. You can see
The moment he jumped in the game.
Well, it was around COVID. Like there's so many variables that impacted it. But those prices are still like 3 times the height of what everything is currently, which is crazy.
man, a PSA 10 is $1,300.
Of the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want a PSA 10. I just want one to put in my binder.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just get nostalgic with this sort
I
of
understood none of that.
shit. Yeah.
So that means like mint condition. There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with it. The print is great.
I don't need
like,
that. It's been graded. It's in a little plastic case and it's fucking proper. I do have a couple of those, but yeah. I found a card store that's in Bentley. I used to drive to fucking like Blackburn.
Oh yeah, Blackbird.
I've got you on that one. I used to drive to it was an hour outside of my God, what's it called? It's near Bacchus Marsh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
6.
Yep. So Isabel and I
Farmlands.
would go on a road trip to this reseller and it was like the dingiest place ever, but they had everything.
That's
there.
mad shit. Yeah. It's just like full nostalgia. Makes
It
you
is.
feel good just looking at it.
Mad.
And I don't know why, about a month ago, I was like, I might finish that set. So I've been buying shit off eBay and found a card store in Bentley. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Really good. So I go in there.
Just Pokemon.
Nah, it's fucking everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They only do cards though. That's
Okay.
it. It's like
Yeah.
it's called Lunar Cards. Shouts out. They're very, very helpful.
Shouts out.
Shouts out. So yeah, that hobby night. I'll bring a trade desk. If you got some gym heroes, gym challenge.
Man, had a dinner with Isabel's cousins recently. One of her cousins is like devoutly into this card trading Pokemon stuff. He's putting this binder of cards together. I'm assuming it's a completed base set as well. I didn't ask him, but he was able to pay off his car loan with it.
Oh, without a doubt. Some of them are fucked, man.
Yeah. I was like, that is unbelievable.
That's crazy.
He's like, yeah, the only thing was he had to buy tickets to go and hand deliver it to the guy in the Gold Coast. He wanted it hand delivered
so
to
it was a
him.
proper one.
Yeah.
Proper.
And then, just see you
So it would
later.
have been thousands. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Mine's not worth that much.
Okay.
No. Might be a couple thousand, but it's not like, no.
Yeah.
It's staying in my folders. Yeah.
Mate.
Frame 'em.
So yeah, hobby night might be
Hobby night's in the works.
hobby night.
Hobby night.
Paint some D&D fucking figures. Yeah, nice. Alrighty. The other thing we we're going to chat about just quickly is that we've opened up a third novice comp. Dids, do you want to share the details?
Yep. So we're going to be doing it on the same day as our APA sanction comp. So it will be November 22nd. So we've pushed back the sanction comp to a midday start time. So the novice comp will kick off from 8, so we can fit them both in the same day. Just with this last one doing well and obviously filling a good amount of spots, we thought it'd be a nice one to finish off the year with. So yeah, if you're keen, let us know. Obviously, if you're a client, touch base with your coach. But once again, this one is extended out to the broader community. So
we'll probably open the tickets for that after this current one, which will be next. So
next
2 weeks
weekend
time.
is the Novice Comp 2 of the year. Novice Comp 3 will be, it's about 13 weeks out at this point. So yeah, if you're keen, let us know. We can pop your name down, and then when the tickets do come out, we can just send them straight to you. So yeah, it'd be a nice one to finish off the year with before we enter December.
Also with that, obviously because of this second one this year, we decided to start opening up to externals, and I think we're just going to continue to lean in that direction anyway. If you are a coach in our network, you got clients, you've got a couple, 2, 3, 4 clients that potentially would be keen on doing the novice comps, just let us know. We can offer a small discount for the ticket prices if you want to bring a few people down. And some of the coaches from the community, like they train here and stuff, they already do that. So that will be an open invite. If you are a coach that listens to this and you've got a couple of clients that you think it might work well with, help with some training motivation, some training direction, getting them involved, just reach out and we can set something up.
For sure. And like if you are obviously a coach, you might have a few clients who want to do it. Like obviously put the feelers out, see if you can get some names down, and we can obviously put your name down, because we do always need to save X amount of spots for our in-person clients, our coach clients. Obviously it's always going to be there for them, but there is an amount of space available for external. So if you are keen, let us know, and we'll get your name on the list, and you'll just have first access.
So what's that date?
Come out. So it's the 22nd of November.
22nd of November. And that will be our APA comp as well, which will be our second APA
Which will be
comp.
fun, because it'll be a nice full day.
When does that open? That's all on them, isn't it?
That will open, I believe it is the same day as the Novice Comp, actually, the 30th of August.
It's 12 weeks out.
6 p.m. Yeah, you can see all that information on the APA website.
On the APA website. So yeah. We want to push the novice comps. So
For sure.
they're definitely going to be a higher priority of how we move forward with our events and because we do push pull run as well, but push pull run, I think we've kind of all identified that it's not going to be like it's not going to be the premier event that we offer. Yeah. It's just it's a good testing day, and that will be open to external people as well. But
especially as we're always going to try to probably about 2 sanction comps a year. We've usually done 2 novice comps. We're building up to 3. Like obviously there's only so many like weekends in the year. And it's not to say that we don't want to do push pull run. We enjoy it, but obviously just as a team, as a community, like there's only so many like things we're really going to emphasize. So push pull run will be there, but it's
especially with the growing of the hobby night.
That's that's the thing. You know, there's we've got many strings to our bow here. You know, we've got to divvy up our resources. But the thing is, is like we're always going to respond to the community. If for whatever reason there were X amount of people who were really keen to do push pull run, and there was more of a drive for that, like we'd make it work. It's just like it'll obviously ultimately come down to what the community puts their hand up for. If more people want to do it, then we'll push them more. But it's just we definitely see that the novice comps tend to be the one that
I think they just align better.
They just align better, and I think we usually have the easiest time filling them up and making a day out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. At the end of the day, they are community events. So
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Nice, awesome. We wanted to chat this week about training niggles, injuries, overcoming stuff like that.
As always, I think a good place to start here is definition. So I'm a stickler for this, but I think it's
semantics
important.
matter, man.
I'm a stickler for semantics in general, but when it comes to injuries and niggles, I personally, with myself and the things I deal with, like to distinguish between injuries and niggles, and it's something that I try to instill in my clients as a mindset.
Hang on, we've just lost everyone.
We've lost something.
We've just lost everyone. Hang on.
This will be good for learning editing.
Yeah, James George is going to learn how to edit. All right, we're fine. Go back to it.
So in terms of like the distinguishing between injuries and niggles, like I think that the big differentiating factor there is the severity of it. But I'd say like an injury is something that really makes you take like a very noticeable change in how you have to approach training, day-to-day life. Whereas a niggle, it's in the same direction. It's just not as severe. It's a lot easier to work around. Typically won't last as long. And it's something that more or less doesn't completely derail your training, and you can sort of more or less continue as you were, just with some slight adjustments. So I think particularly if we narrow in on our focus, which is lifting, the vast majority of things that people deal with, I think, fall into that niggle category. And that distinction is important because a lot of the struggles that people have around injuries, niggles, it's a mindset thing. And if the first time you experience any amount of pain, any amount of setbacks, you label it an injury, there's just an association that can get wrapped up with that, and it can make you maybe be more worried about it than you need to, or think that it's going to be more of an issue with your training than it needs to be. So I think knowing that distinction and having some strategies and some assistance in differentiating that distinction is important. But yeah, I think for the crux of it is, though, most of the time we're dealing with niggles. It's something that pops up. It's annoying. It's bothersome. We might have to adjust things, but it's not, red flags, emergency things are really,
derailed,
which happens. And obviously, when these things happen, we need to seek out the appropriate help and be smart about it. But most of most of the things that we end up dealing with are niggles. And because then they're niggles and they don't necessarily result in us completely changing things, a lot of it just comes down to managing these things and finding ways to work through them, work around them, because ultimately our goal is just to keep training as much and as hard as we can. And if we're not experiencing like a severe injury, like there's every reason for us to try to do as much as we can and not just completely stop training or completely avoid things.
Yep. I would agree with that 100%. And I think most of the time, because we chatted loosely off air around this, but most of the time, once you've, like, I'm not thinking about coaches right now, I'm thinking about just like people engaging with strength training, engaging with like powerlifting and all of that. It's not their be all and end all of everything that they do throughout the week. But most of the time, when you've been training for a good chunk of successive blocks, like these things just pop up. They're very common. So learning how to manage them, or a couple of frameworks that you might be able to use to improve those things, I think are important skills to develop, especially if you don't have a coach. Obviously you have a coach, you work with the coach around that, but we definitely want to chat about some of the little frameworks. Do you want to add anything to that, James George?
I think there's an element of it, like as you were saying, just it pops up with long successions of training, long bouts of productive training. Yeah, so there is an element of it that is like familiarity based and like experience based. Like something will pop up, you learn how to deal with it, you learn how to manage it. So it might pop up again later down the track, and you know how to approach it. So your reaction to it isn't as significant as it once was, and the whole training process becomes more seamless rather than like it feels a bit like stop-start or rigid as it might be when you first experience like something that might feel foreign, and you're like, oh my, alarm bells ring and whatever.
And that's completely fair enough. Like if you've never experienced a tweak, an injury, a significant niggle, whatever it might be, it's fair enough that you might be quite concerned about it and worry like, is this going to derail my training? Am I going to hurt myself or do damage? And like these are all fair questions, but the more of those you've gone through and the more of them that you see that, okay, that happened last time. It was a bit of a pain in the ass, but it kind of sorted itself out in a short amount of time and we went back to normal. Like, it just gets easier to deal with these things as they pop up. Generally speaking, with experience, it just doesn't throw you as much.
Yeah, 100%.
Alrighty, so with all that said, we've got the definition outlined. The semantics, they do matter. I'll die on that hill. What are some of the initial sort of things that you guys go to from a coaching perspective, like managing and helping clients move through these things? What are some of the initial steps that you try to identify or try to think about how we could move forward once a niggle presents?
I try and understand, for myself, I try and understand, is this, or how am I reacting to this? Is it like something really significant to me? Is it creating alarm bells for me? So in that case, it might be something that I need to be a little bit more reflective upon or in tune with, and maybe take it a bit more conservative moving forward. But if it's something that, I've experienced before, I will be conservative, but not as conservative. And what I mean by that is I'll still try and continue on with whatever task it was I was doing, but instead of, taking bigger jumps in a warm-ups, maybe it's less of a big jump, or maybe I'm tempoing it, trying to just
small modifications.
Yeah, small modifications to move through it, really feel how I am feeling, and also my mental preparedness to do the task as well. With clients too, I'll often ask them, like, how does it make you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? If they're saying that it's quite high up on their 10 scale, I'll know, like, it's probably better off that we just kick back and move on from it, and just come back to it at when they're ready to attack it again, which is generally like a couple of days, maybe even the next session. Even sometimes at the end of the session, they just want to tinker around with things and play around with, like, their range of motion and loading. But yeah, generally I'll ask them, like, how does this make you feel? Most of the time it's quite low on their scale. And in that way, I take the same approach as I would myself. We're just more conservative. Like, okay, let's take the next warm up. Let's just slow it down maybe, or let's just make minor adjustments in whatever it is you're doing. And yeah, just take it on from there. Usually things, as we do more warm-ups and we just tweak things and kind of like focus on those things that are causing concern, we not focus, but like
shift the focus.
That cause concern, then things just sort of correct themselves. Yeah,
especially with the lower level stuff.
Yeah,
I got a great. Need to plug that in again. I got a great framework from Greg Lehman. Fantastic person to learn from.
100%.
Has some fantastic ideas and strategies around reconciling some of the subjective experiences. He speaks more from a rehab perspective, like true rehabilitation, true injuries, and all of that sort of stuff. But reconciling some of those subjective sort of variables or influences on the experience of a human, as well as the objective stuff. So like performance or like structural changes and things like that. Again, speaking more from a rehab perspective. But he's got a great little sort of overarching idea when it comes to training around pain or managing pain, which niggle would represent some sort of pain sort of presentation. But there's really only two like primary directions that you can move when deciding whether or not you should be or how to manage something. The first one, eloquently said, calm shit down, which would be more indicative of actually like avoiding. So let's just say somebody has like back dramas, some back niggles that are starting to pop up. One of the options you can do is actually just avoid all of the things that load the back, and especially if there's a lot of this subjective sort of like confidence and this derailment of like your attitude to training and your approach and your input and your investment into like really trying and all of those sort of things. Sometimes it is better just to avoid it and just leave it and just let it go and swap out of your barbell squats to things like machine work or leg extensions and split squats and all of that, like simply just avoiding it so that you can let the system, let whatever is causing some of the niggles to present to actually calm down. So you can calm shit down, avoid. The alternative to that, the flip to that, again, eloquently said, is build shit up. Which would actually be like starting to expose the area that has a niggle, like the low back. So maybe you actually do need to expose it to some training and expose it to some new positions or a new strategy so that you can build your confidence and do all of that. Not to say that once you select one of those doors to walk through, you just walk through there and that's it. Like you still collect data and go through that. But I think a lot of the times just having that understanding, like, do I want to avoid this? Do I want to just let this thing calm down for a couple of weeks, or do I actually want to continue to expose and continue to build and just modify and make some of those subtle adjustments? I think that's a really easy way to at least initially think about the strategy to move forward with.
And then when we look through the calm shit down lens, like obviously sometimes it is just avoiding it, but other times it can be slowing movement down, going a little bit lighter, maybe adjusting the variation, adjusting the range of motion. Like, for example, common one would be on bench, might be some anterior shoulder pain in that deep bar on chest position of a bench press. Common one there might be a board press or a spoto press or a pin press. Just removing that portion of the movement that is the most bothersome and that is causing stuff to not feel calmed down, and then that could be enough. So we can still bench and most likely sit with a decent amount of intensity, but nothing's getting bothered. So that area can calm down. Obviously, it's a case-by-case basis, and we've got to work out what is the best approach. But like sometimes it's that. It's just a variation of the movement we're already doing.
Small modifications,
Yep.
yeah. Obviously, I do a lot of coach mentoring and stuff, but another little simple thing that I'm often helping coaches better understand is this idea around what the variables that you have in play, what you can modify for things. Obviously, most of the discussion is when training's going well, what do we progress, what do we push? But there's always these situations where training isn't going amazing. You have to modify, whether it's life stress, whether it's a niggle, whether it isn't a true injury or whatever. There are times where you have to learn to progress and modify things by pulling things back. When you view the variables that you have in play for training progression, I categorize them as big rocks and small rocks. So the big rocks are going to be the typical, like your total amount of volume, so how much work you're doing, the intensity of the volume, so how difficult the work is, and then the frequency of your training, so how often you're training and how often you're quote unquote stimulating training or stimulating an adaptation. Those being the big rocks, I think for niggle management and injury management long term, they are going to be your probably the ones that have the biggest impact on a larger time scale. Making sure we're doing the right amount of training, making sure we're recovering from it, making sure that it is hard enough to cause an adaptation and all of those sort of things. The flip side of the big rocks are going to be your small rocks, and Didier just touched on a bunch of those. But the small rocks are the little variables that you can tweak and tinker with, and generally, from my experience and a lot of the people that I've helped, generally these things have more of an impact acutely in shorter time frames.
Yep.
Things like modifying range of motion. So you might have the bottom of your squat being a bit pissed off on your hip, squatting to a box, like just making it not accessing that range, but you're still going through a squat. That is a very easy, acute strategy that allows you to continue to train, allows you to expose the movement pattern, keep things consistent, and move forward without pissing things off further and all of that. So range of motion is a simple one. The speed that you lift up is another simple one. You can slow things down. James chatted about the tempo. Like if your knees sore with a squat, just try to slow it down a little bit.
And I think
see how it feels.
What we might be illustrating here is that there's often not one exact best path to follow. You've just got to kind of try some things. Slow it down. Does that feel better? Try a reduction.
Try a
range of
different
motion.
grip.
Just if you try something and it feels better, great. Like we don't need to know exactly why. It's just cool. If that's feeling good, let's lean into that. Like let's not think of it. Is this the ideal scenario? If it's making things feel better, perfect. Let's roll with that. Like it's sometimes as simple as that. Most of the times it's as simple as that. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to zoom out again and think about those variables that you do have in play. The smaller rocks, those acute things, the little things that you can tweak and manage, a general recommendation would be try that for a little while. Try that for a couple of weeks. Like try those modifications, keep exploring and feel what's good and seeing how the normal pattern feels. But acutely, those things are probably going to be really easy modifications that you can make. But long term, I think it very aggressively flips to the other side, which is we need to make sure that we're following a productive plan with the right amount of volume, the right intensities, and the right frequencies that we can recover from, that we can see productive outcomes from. And those bigger rocks are definitely going to play more chronic sort of just long-term strategies for managing not just niggles, but managing good training as a whole. Yeah,
for sure.
It's funny. I had a conversation with a member here over Instagram on the weekend.
In the DMs.
In the DMs. They messaged me. Our hack squat has has gone through a few bands.
There's been an acute change to the loading of the hack squat.
And so they were like,
how many people have complained?
I don't know if there's been many complaints, but
I wouldn't call them complaints. There's been like, oh wow, that feels heavier. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. So just to make it clear, we had a reverse band on the hack squat to make it easier because it's really heavy. We've broken 2 in like 3 months, so we're like, we don't want to go through a band every couple of months, so we're just going to go no band.
We're going to see how no band goes.
Yeah,
and it's heavy.
So this person, they messaged me. They're like, oh, like there's no band here. I've been trying to put a band on with someone else here, but we're not having any luck.
Good.
I was like, okay, no bands. That's rule number 1. And they were just saying that they were getting a bit of anterior knee pain, just in the squat. What should they do?
In came the little rocks.
In came the little rocks, and I just said to them, hey, if there's weight on there already, take some of it off, and let's play with moving your feet a little bit further forward.
Change your setup.
Yeah. They just didn't consider doing that. They just wanted it to do it the same way. And so I think it just was like a light bulb moment for them to explore a different way of doing it. But yeah, it's the same thing of just like explore. Like that is the one
Big
underrated thing in your toolkit that can just keep training going, like modifying your training. Yeah.
Yep.
I think those things should probably always be happening anyway. Like just trying different things, trying a different setup, trying a different cue. And that's where having a coach is really helpful because they're obviously observing it externally and they can see and witness those things and give you some recommendations.
And it's funny with that because just off air when we were discussing bringing this subject up today and we were just considering how we might find it easier to deal with these niggles that pop up and whether that's due to maybe the length of training we've done. But I think what it really is as a coach, because you get to witness and go through the training journey with so many people, you see the highs, the lows, the in-betweens. We have that data to pull from of like, okay, most of these things that pop up in the kind of training we do, they're around for a little while, they cause a bit of an issue, but most things settle pretty quickly and they don't completely derail training. Whereas obviously as an individual, if you're just going off your own experience, if you have one niggle, whether it's a niggle or an injury, but if you're just considering what's happened to you specifically, it's harder to think that this is going to blow over, especially if it's the first time you've really dealt with it. It's harder to feel that this might blow over. It's not the end of the world. I will be able to get through this, and these things can give you more stress than they really need. And obviously as a coach, you need to have empathy with that and understand where someone's coming from and try to explain to them that these things to help them zoom out. But no matter what, it's always going to be easier for me, having coached as many people as I've coached, to realize, okay, chances are this issue's really not that big of a deal. It's not going to be around for that long, and if we just stay the course, we're going to be fine. But there's no, as much as I can communicate that, there's no. Of course, I'm always going to find it easier to zoom out because all we do as coaches is zoom out, and look at things over bigger time frames, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else we want to touch on that?
I think a big element of that as well is just trying to help them change their perspective on it too. Like, yes, this has popped up, but it also opens up the door to maybe it's slam your uppers if you can't push them as hard on your lowers, or vice versa, or maybe it's now time to explore a different lift. Like maybe you were doing, I don't know, just a regular bench. Now it's time for you to explore a spotto press, and you've never done that before. Like that in itself is fun.
Spotto press. Has the spotto
press is
program
back. The spotto's back. Yeah, we're back.
Are you programming
We're
it?
programming it. Yeah, 100%. Richard's got it. Amy's got it.
What's your utility? Actually, before we go that, a Spoto press, Spoto or Spoto?
I heard you call it Spodo.
I think it's Spoto.
Eric Spoto.
Yeah.
Is it?
Spoto.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was, I think he was the first person to bench 700 pounds raw or something.
I believe so.
600 pounds? 700. 320.
320 kilos.
He benched that raw. This guy's got arguably the biggest arms, like thickness.
Like forearms as big as my thighs.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And he used to do this technique where you would pause the barbell like an inch from your chest.
Yeah.
Like you come all the way
like a
down.
floater pause.
It's like a floater, yeah. It's not touching you. It's just not, you're in control of that bottom position. Where's it come back from?
So this is full disclaimer, full peeling back the curtain. and this is something I wanted to make a post on, but here's my chance to do it. The reality is, and any coach who disagrees with this is either lying to you or
Here we go. Strap in.
is either lying to you.
Shit.
No. They're either lying to you or they just don't understand what they're talking about. Every coach who's ever programmed variations, which every coach does, to some degree, it's just we're throwing in a different exercise just because. Prime example, Richard, after his comp, we had been doing some Spoto press, we had been doing some comp press, we've been doing different variations, and then using my combination of art and science, post his last comp, we decided that all his bench days were going to be just plain old competition bench press. He asked me, happy with the changes, just curious, is there any reason why we're not doing variations? And because I like to be honest, I said to start, honestly, Richard, the reality is sometimes it's just variation for variety's sake. We were doing that. Let's do this now. That's all there is to it. But then, to add as well, like in this particular context, my explanation to him, which is true, is that we had those variations in for him to address some problems. But in that time, his bench just got better and his comp bench was good. So I was kind of like, we're probably just good to roll with a regular comp bench. Like we're not necessarily going to gain anything by giving you a different variation right now. But I really want to stress that 100%, whether it's SBD, any other variation, there's only so many ways you can write a program. Sometimes it's just, you know what, you've done that for a while. Let's do something. Let's mix it up. And that's a perfectly fine reason. Like there's not, and people would say, no, everything needs such a specific reason. And I've thought this program out. It's like, nah, cut the shit, man. You just mix it up and that's fine. That's cool. That's not an issue. But that's the reality. Going back to
Spoto.
Why have you Spoto? So we understand the first and probably most realistic reason why these things happen. But I'd say the benefit of the Spoto press is that it's just a challenging way. Well, probably a couple of things that come to mind. It's a challenging way to pause because if you can control the bar and kind of float an inch off your chest and come to a nice solid stop, that is more challenging than pausing it on your chest. So if you can do it just to the air, even though it's a reduced range of motion, but if you can pause just in midair and do it well, to pause to your chest is probably going to be more simple. And then I think the other thing
So it forces you to control the bottom position.
Yeah, it makes that bottom position harder. So if you can do it well with that, doing it to your chest will be easier. But then probably the other thing that comes to mind is if we're focusing on driving that chest up as high as we can, having a bit of a gap between where the bar is and where the chest is allows us to assess from rep to rep. Okay, how far is that gap? Is it getting bigger? Is it getting smaller? A pin press would be a similar one. Because the bar never actually touches your chest. If, as you're doing the set, the gap between your chest gets wider and wider and wider, obviously we're missing something. Whereas if we're getting that chest as close to the bar as possible, even if we don't reach it, it gives us a target. It gives us something to aim towards. So that would be my reasoning for using it, aside from variety's sake.
I can't even remember. I remember watching the videos with Spoto talking. I wonder what he's like.
I'm sure he'd have a reason. Yeah. They're mine, but I'm sure Mr. Spoto's got maybe a more thought out reason. But
I can't stress enough how big this guy's arms are.
Huge.
Awesome.
Eric Spoto.
Shouts out.
I remember the OG Mark Bell training videos.
Yeah, I remember 100%.
He'd come in, he'd just get like a monster to come
especially
in,
like
and train and just talk about the
especially like obviously this was probably like 8-10 years ago at this point. Like a 700-pound bench is insane at any day of the week. Like back then it was just even crazier because like no one was doing it. Like it's just he was on another level.
Shit, he's fucking huge.
He's a big boy.
Jesus.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You can open a new tab if you're watching this. Look up Eric Spoto. Spoto. Spoto.
Crazy.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, the variation. I put all methods in that though. and again, I mentor a lot of people and I do all this sort of stuff. Like my whole education framework is like deep understanding of the principles, like the key rules that we are playing within. If you can understand that, the curtain,
drawing the curtain back.
The proverbial curtain on every method, every technique, every strategy, every process just gets ripped away, and you just observe these things for what they are. They're just a different strategy to apply the principles that actually make a difference.
As long as the principles are there, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and like every I was having a chat with Brady. Shouts out Brady. Just before the potty, and he was. I asked him, like, outline all of your different strategies to apply RPEs within programs and apply RPEs within the framework, the principle of intensity, and like the pros and cons of each, and what context what these ones make more sense in. And he did that last week, and he brought that forward, and we had like 6 or 7 different strategies to it. And then at the end, he was like, "Oh, like I've heard about like wave loading. Like, what is wave loading?" And I'm like, "Well, it's just a method to load, and you wave it. You increase some intensity here, you decrease some here. You can do it within a session. You can do it within a training block. You can do it within successive training blocks. Like, it's just a method." And it was just like a perfect example of like all of these methods, all of these little fucking strategies, these processes, these people that everyone fight about because it's more productive or whatever. It's like ultimately it's just a strategy. There's no right or wrong. There's so many ways. Same with the Niggles, same with all of it. Like if we can view the principles for what they are, like the decision making just becomes so much easier.
As a weird segue, but funny side note, like it really goes for anything in life. Last night on the gym floor, there was a debate about the best way to cook steaks, and there was some in the there was some in the sous vide camp, some in the very
I've never tried a sous vide. Have you tried a sous vide?
Craig, this actually wasn't Craig who was involved, but Craig has told me he swears by sous vide.
Yeah, most people do. It's controlled.
It's like controlled, certificate, and then the other benefit, which makes a lot of sense, is that if you have a bad exhaust fan like me, way less smoke because you're not actually putting the meat in the pan for that long, because searing takes a minute aside because it's basically cooked. You're just giving it some color,
crisp it up.
So yeah, but Craig swears by
Maillard
it.
effect.
Michael's son also swears by it. Sous vide tomahawk.
He's telling me he bought a sous vide off of Amazon for like $70.
He bought the bath.
Yeah.
He bought the steak bath.
Yeah, he's got the full bath. But in any field though, like there'll be some people who will be like, "Oh no, not sous vide, it's reverse here." But at the end of the day, they're all trying to do more or less the same thing. They're all trying to get to the
What
same
are the
journey.
principles of a good steak? What are the internal temperature? Internal temperature
and a nice sear
and a fucking crispy fucking sear, preferably in butter, not oil, because the butter has milk products and they brown and they increase the flavor.
Nice.
Yeah. Fucking know.
But even then, that's a debate. Olive oil.
No, it's not a debate.
Okay, butter. Right. So Jamie's lost the weeds. I'm not anti-butter, but we're going back to the same thing. There's different beef tallow, butter. Fucking,
true.
You know what I mean?
See, I haven't experimented with butter. I've only used oil.
What oil do we use?
Olive
oil.
High smoke point oil to start. The way I think about cooking a steak, my method for cooking a steak, start with oil, finish with butter.
Finish with butter. Okay.
So you have oil on the pan at the start because it just creates a bit of contact, increases the temperature and all of that sort of stuff. Once you get the initial sear on, you just smack butter, and you can't put enough butter in that fucking pan. Like you just throw butter in there. Yeah.
Do you do that situation where
baste it? Yeah.
And then
you got it.
Get the butter like foaming. Like,
mad. Nice.
No, but the difference between oil and butter is because butter is a milk-based product.
Yeah.
It's got proteins. I think they're proteins. They've got proteins in there that when they cook, when they brown. It increases the flavor profile. Where oil doesn't do that. Oil is consistent. Yep. It doesn't like you can change the flavor of oil by putting different, like you can put chili in there. But
the oil itself,
the quality, the structure of the oil doesn't change.
What was the name of that occurrence that you said?
Maillard effect.
Maillard effect.
Yeah, it's the browning.
I'm not trying to be a wanky here, but is it Maillard effect?
Maillard, it might be. I'm not even Maillard is a type of duck. Maillard duck. I think that's the type of duck.
Is that the same word? I think two different words.
I think I'm doing the duck variety. Yeah.
Maillard effect.
Maillard effect.
Maillard.
Actually, it's the Maillard effect.
Yeah. I've never heard that word spoken. I've only seen written.
Maillard.
I thought Maillard. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Steak.
But that's why toast. So you know when toast browns.
Yeah.
like the smell of it is
it's
like
mad.
salivating.
Yeah,
That's what butter does.
Okay.
When you cook butter properly, it does the same effect. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why like it's like universal that like humans love smelling of brown toast.
They love it.
Because it's that it like it's the flavors and and apparently like dark chocolate is the same. There's like certain notes within different chocolates, and dark chocolate, let's just say, has 30,000 notes of flavor, where like milk chocolate has like 2,000.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why people you get all the chocolate connoisseurs are like, oh, you have to eat dark. This roasted dark chocolate is fucking blah blah blah, and like it's the same idea with like.
Yeah, look, I was never a dark chocolate guy, but recently I've been
dark chocolate's
loving
mad.
it. Yeah,
and same with red wine. Like red wine's the same. Like if your palate isn't developed, it's like overpowering. You're like, what the fuck is? Do you remember like the first time you ever sipped red wine? You're like, what the?
Yeah.
Like as like a 13-year-old just having a sip or smelling it. And you're like, what? And then all of a sudden you're 30 and you're like, man, I would smack a Shiraz right now. Like it's just like the notes. Yeah,
the notes.
Yeah.
They're singing.
Yeah, maybe we need a steak night too.
Well, this was the thing.
Well,
So-
James wants to do a pay-per-view fucking steak off.
Yeah, well, Michael and Olivia were both going back and forth that no, my version of a steak is better. I cook it better. So I said, hey guys, to just
settle
fix
this.
this,
Blind taste
to
test.
settle this. Let's.
What is it? Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, you guys make the steak. I'll taste it, and then we'll figure out.
Get
who
Dan
makes it
Serlin in
better.
there. I'm going to back Dan Serlin in to make the
I'm
best
backing.
steak.
I'm backing Craig. Craig Hollis.
Dan
Craig
Serlin
too, yeah.
told me about a type of steak method for cooking, which is a mayo based. And instead of you cover the steak in mayonnaise, and again because of the protein and the fat content of mayo, it like when you cook it, it does all of those effects, but it magnifies those flavor profiles and stuff. And I tried it and it was mad.
Really?
You rest the steak in mayo and then sear it in mayo. It makes no sense, but then like unreal. I'd back Dan Serlin in to make the best steak here.
Yeah, true.
And he's got all the different methods as well. Like he's got all the different cooking.
Got the tools.
He's got the tools. Does he have a sous vide?
I'm not sure.
I would assume he would.
I wouldn't be
surely.
surprised though.
Yeah.
He's a ChatGPT guy.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Big guy. Big software guy.
Big software
Big
guy.
software guy.
Big software guy.
Big barbecue
We've chosen
guys.
a good grill master, I reckon.
We have.
Nice. Alrighty. Is there anything else, boys?
I think that'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
If you need help with your training, reach out. A couple of links down below will take you to the website with our different services and offers, but also you can DM the page. Also, if you're in the area and just want to come check out the gym, send us a DM, come do a casual session, meet the team, meet some members, come get involved. Next trivia night this Friday, 22nd.
Yep.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
If you're keen on coming, preferably bring a friend too.
Yep.
But if you're keen
The
on
more
coming,
the merrier.
the more the merrier. Just DM either Charlie or either Dids or James. And then the novice comp is next Saturday, the 30th, as well. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Ciao.